And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is the Sports Cave. Your
More energy.
My co-host Zach Rowan.
What's happening, folks?
I have no energy.
Robbie is being a depressed little bitch right now, but other than that, guys,
shut your mouth here. This is my intro right now. Normally too, but this one I want. Okay, folks. Normally, you know, when life has you by the balls and shit just doesn't go your way, you know what they say the best thing to do is, Zachary? They say the best thing to do is drink your pain away. So we have Bronx Brewery here I haven't had an IPA on the show, and I don't know how long, Zachary. Now Use Can't Leave. Now Use Can't Leave. Double IPA, 10.1%. And you know what? We're sending it. Cheers to a terrible Tuesday. Whatever I have in store. I had a bad day at work. My contact lens is ripped. I have no pairs coming until Friday. So, we're just going to be an alcoholic today and just drink.
Well, folks, you heard it first here, you guys. If you ever have any problems, just drink them away. It's a good thing to live by.
Again,
we do not support alcoholism on this show, though.
Yeah.
But we do love Bob. And cheers to that, folks. Oh, we got a ding right off the bat of the episode. Yes, sir. Oh, well, Robert, I'll join you on a beer. It's a Tuesday, 6:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What do you think of that pour?
It's a pretty impressive pour. Oh, and you just took a hair out. Bob! Sorry, Bob. Had to give you a little bit of a slight there, but we're starting off hot tonight, folks.
And honestly, Dad, I'm sorry. Normally, this is where I would defend you. But, I talked to Zach. I said, Zach, you need to start being more nice to my father. You can't be saying F you, Bob, at the end of every show. But, Dad, he brings up a very salient point. I mean, you're always coming after his throat. Like, we need to start establishing friendships here. That's what the show is about, is friendships and alcohol.
Bob.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I was just about to call a truce, and then you read fucking pothead motherfucker. All right, Bob. Well,
okay, here we go.
Can't argue with that.
I've never had this beverage before. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, here we go.
Double IPA is usually full of flavor. Not for everybody.
I might be getting drunk tonight.
All right, Tuesday night drunk Robbie, folks. We feel like we should put a disclaimer up here that there's a chance Robbie could say something mildly racist. I'm not going to say like a slur or anything, but you never know, right? So I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Like he might call like a Dominican guy a Puerto Rican by accident or something. I don't know. It might be something along that line.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me. I just want to make sure that our fans and listeners are aware that you might hear some shit tonight.
You know what, Zach? You should have been spat. How about that? All
right, well, that's not very nice to say. Now, this show is called The Sports Cave, Robbie, and what do you say we give these motherfuckers what they want?
Zachary, it's been a long time coming. I don't know when's the last time we let off with this league of sports.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to give you a second to redo that one there.
Okay, please hold. It's after a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Head's not all the way there. Okay. Zachary, it's been a long time since we start off the show with this league of sports.
Sue us, you fat pig. I dare you to sue us, you fat pig.
One day that might actually come true. What if we just got like a thing from the mail from Fox and they were suing us?
I would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't do the show, and you'd never see me again.
You are just, you really are a scumbag. Folks, I just want to let you know that this guy, I invited him and our fellow Canadian Marcuzio to come and celebrate my 30th year on planet Earth. And Zach's response was, nah, I'm good.
No, my response was, I can't. I'm going to an engagement party for my lovely friend Anton Burra. Congratulations, Mr. Anton Burra. Very happy for you. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend, Robert. And the day gets worse for Robert.
No, it actually gets better. I don't have to worry about someone freaking doing shrooms or a bunch of other illegal substances at my party.
There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun and letting your hair down on a night out. And Robbie, a guy.
Don't you want to say we'll see you soon, Dad?
No, I won't want to say that. Bob, we'll see you soon. Have yourself a great rest of your work shift. But a man who knows about letting his hair down, Robert, and maybe experimenting in some drugs per se.
Ryan?
Mr. Aaron Rodgers. The time has finally come And I think we knew he was going to be a Steeler for what seemed like the past 2 months, but it is official. A 1 year, I believe, $19.5 million contract to quarterback the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, Robbie. To me, this is coming from a Browns fan who's going to be terrible next year. I really just don't see the Steelers doing too much.
I mean, what's their running game like? Because they lost Najee Harris to the Chargers. Is Jaron Warren their starting running back?
I'm not too sure. You're looking at the depth chart?
No, I'm looking up Aaron Rodgers right here, and apparently he got married a few months ago.
Here, I'll look up Steelers depth chart.
Aaron Rodgers and Will Howard. Will's a good kid. Thought he looked good today. I'm going to be with him every single day and every single meeting. I'm going to help him out as much as I can.
Yeah, right now, Robbie, their number one running back is Jaylen Warren.
That's not good.
No. And then Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, and Trey Sherman round out the four.
That's pretty trash.
Yeah. No, but they got Skylar Thompson, so quarterback on fourth string.
Or Thompson, whatever his name is.
Yeah, they got him.
Well, Zachary, it's a 1 year, $13 million deal that can
I was off.
To $19 million.
There we go. I was wrong with that part.
And I'm not reading that. I just I memorized that.
Well, Robbie, is this obviously the Steelers are not. I'm never going to use the word contender. Like, are they going to match their win total last year? I think they had a pretty miraculous season last year that no one really expected.
10 or 11 games. Yeah, they will. Zachary, are you aware of what Aaron Rodgers looked like last year? The MVP, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers have very similar numbers. Aaron Rodgers had 3,897 pass yards, a 63% complete percentage, 28 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, bad throw percentage of 17.3. Josh Allen, 3,731 passing yards, 63.6 completion percentage, 28 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 18.7% bad throw. So, Aaron Rodgers, those games of the Jets, it seemed like he was good for 2 or 3 quarters, and that's when shit would hit the fan. However, the coaching staff, the front office, and the ownership of the New York Jets was all sorts of discombobulated last year. You're going to a Steelers team where you held accountable with Mike Tomlin. You're going in with DK Metcalf. You're going in with a pretty good defense, depending on what's going to happen with TJ Watt as he.
Oh, you cut out there at
I
the
was
end.
frozen that entire time, wasn't I?
Not frozen the whole time. It's just the last little blurb we did.
Moral of the story here, folks. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are going to win 10 or 11 games max this year.
Well, that's probably more than what I'd have, Matt. I believe their season total wins is set now to 8.5 or something like that. I believe I saw for the drafting odds. So do what you guys want with that sort of information. But I feel like this is something that we knew was going to happen for literally what seemed like the last couple months.
Let me see if it's over here in FanDuel Sportsbook if I can see win totals.
And I like how he put all that information out and then was immediately just set into the back seat with the whole Trump and Elon Musk news coming out.
Okay, so the over 6.5 wins is at a minus 270. So I guess the medium right here would be 8.5. Over is plus 110. Under is minus 130. Zachary, let's go to your Cleveland Browns and see what they have here.
I'm going to say 4.5.
5.5.
All right.
Yep. Let's see what the New England Patriots have. I'm going to guess a number here. I'm going to say 7.5. You agree or higher?
I'll say that's probably a fair one. 7.5, 8.5.
The New England Patriots. I was right. 7.5. Over 7.5 wins is a minus 160. Pick another team, Zachary. What other team you want to hear here?
Give me the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, I'm probably going to say 6.5 for them. You agree or? Honestly, I want to see Atlanta's, and then I want to see Carolina's.
I want to say 7.5. I'll say 6.5 for Atlanta. I like that number.
All right, Atlanta. It's 7.5.
Ah, shit. Carolina's, I'm going to say, is going to be at 8.5.
I'm going to say 7.5 or 6.5. I'm going to go with 7.5, though. Carolina, it's 6.
8.5 was crazy. I knew 8 and I said it.
Tampa Bay, 9.5. So who do you think the best team football is going to be this year? Kansas City? I'm going to say 12.
I don't know. Baltimore's always got a good team. The Bills always got a good team.
Let's go through the juggernauts here and see who has the highest win-loss prediction here. So Kansas City, 11.5. Detroit is another one. Detroit, 10.5. Let's see where Minnesota's at. Minnesota 8.5. They dropped down. I mean, they're probably the same as they were last year.
Yeah.
Dallas 7.5. Philly. This is all via FanDuel Sportsbook, by the way. 11.5. Buffalo 11.5. Baltimore 11.5. It seems like all the high profile teams are stuck at 11.5. Zachary.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? And obviously, I could definitely see a few, if not all of them, exceeding that number.
Washington is 9.5. Seattle's 9.5. San Fran is 7.5. Wow.
Jeez.
I might get the over in San Fran. Oh, wait, no, I lied to you. San Fran is 10.5. Seattle is 7.5.
I'm gonna say Seattle being that high was a little shocking.
Tennessee's 5.5. I might slam the under on that.
Yeah, Tennessee is gonna be right there with the Browns for the worst team in football next year.
How's that make you feel as a person?
Well, hopefully it's a good draft, get Archie Manning, and start the rebuild.
You guys are a bunch of pathetic losers.
Why don't you shut the fuck up over there, okay? Mister, I had a tough day. All right?
I think you reminded me. Cheers.
But Robert, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers could help the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of Will Howard. Will Howard, you've seen it more than I have, Zachary. He's definitely not the best, but he gets the job done. But the thing in the NFL is you have to get the job done and be the best. And can that translate under the leadership of Aaron Rodgers? I think it's possible. Now, this is a 1-year contract. I'm wondering what Aaron Rodgers really has to play for here, because Super Bowl contenders, not a chance. You know what else we should have saw was Cincinnati's. Let me see what Cincinnati's win total. 9.5. You're going up against Cincinnati. You're going up against Baltimore. That is a tough matchup. Now, the one thing I think he can get done, and that sounds crazy, Zachary, Pittsburgh has Baltimore's number for the most part. There's a good chance they can win both games against the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin just knows how to handle Lamar Jackson better than anybody else in the league. Cincinnati, with the happy Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both getting their money, yeah, they don't have Trey Hendrickson, but if this is a team that could put up 35 points per game, the defense could do just enough to keep opponents under 28, which is a shit ton to ask, by the way.
Yep.
They can win both against the Steelers. I mean, on top of having Chase Brown or Jamar Chase and Chase Brown's the running back. Yeah, so Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown. I mean, they're a pretty good team over there in Cincinnati if everybody's clicking.
Yeah, not a bad squad right there. I think they'll definitely be a playoff team after that disappointing season they had last year.
My question for you, Zach, is it seems like a long-term contract isn't getting done anytime soon with TJ Watt, and the same thing with Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati. So I ask you, why do these teams hold out for so long to give them a contract to just piss them off even more instead of, I mean, Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt are going to give you some good trade value in return. I mean, you're guaranteed 1, if not 2 first-round picks. Why are these teams so hesitant to just get a trade done? What is it?
I don't know if it's like a big dick competition or like I to be honest with you, I really don't know, but it is kind of retarded. Oh, there it is. Because it's like the deal is going to get done. Maybe not so much for Trey Hendrickson, but TJ Watt, I feel like you're not going to let that guy walk. And I know Trey Hendrickson didn't lead the league in sacks last year, but I mean, if I'm choosing to have one or the other, I'm picking TJ Watt 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, me too.
So I feel like a deal is going to happen with him for sure. And exactly what you just said, it's like, why prolong it? Make him now miss the OTAs and whatever it is, and all that shit. So, like I just said, the deal is going to end up getting done. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot. You're not going to have. Maybe watch the first couple weeks. He might be a slow starter this year. It's stupid, is what it is.
No, that's not the word that you said.
It's stupid.
That's not the word that you said.
It's retarded.
Thank you. Let me go to Adam Schefter's Twitter here to see if we have any updates on people skipping or attending mandatory OTAs. Well, there's a signing we'll go over in a little bit. I'm not seeing anything here, Zachary. I'm not seeing anything here about people skipping or attending mandatory OTAs. Oh, here we go. Bills running back James Cook, who's been seeking a new contract this offseason, is in attendance for today's mandatory minicamps. Meanwhile, TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson are not in attendance.
Well, I mean, that would make sense. I've heard a lot of this news about Mr. Cook there, so kind of a little bit surprised to see him at the OTAs or the mini camp, whatever the fuck we're calling it.
Yeah, mandatory mini camps. They're
There it
mandatory.
is.
They're required to show up.
Required.
Well, Zachary, that's that about Aaron Rodgers. What's next on the list there, you handsome man?
Well, we're gonna talk about another signing, Robbie. This one stings me a little bit. This one stings my soul a
Why?
little bit. Just gonna tilt my camera back there. This man right here.
Do you need some like sad music?
This man right here put his heart and his soul on the line for the Cleveland Browns for the last 7 seasons and was a goddamn absolute animal on the field. Top 3 running back easily in his time as a Cleveland Brown. And it's tough to see him go, Robbie. And I feel like the deal he signed, it's kind of like, well, why couldn't Cleveland come up with a deal like that? And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Nick Chubb, star running back with a bad injury last season, or 2 seasons ago, rather, has signed with the Houston Texans on a 1-year, $2.5 million contract that can be worth up to $5 million. Very affordable. Obviously, you don't know what you're going to get from Nick Chubb, but if I know Nick Chubb, and I feel like from watching running backs, that's been the one I've watched the most over the last 7 years, this man is going to bounce back, and he's going to put up some numbers. And I feel like he's going to get a good chance rushing the ball with Joe Mixon being the starter there, because obviously Joe Mixon's a great running back, but it's not like we're not talking about, in my opinion, like an elite running back here. Like I feel like there's going to be a good chance for a decent sharing of the ball situation. And honestly, all I do is I just wish the best for Nick Chubb. It's another running back there. I wish the best for Nick Chubb, and I hope he has himself a hell of a comeback season. And honestly, I hope he just crams it right down Cleveland's throat, because I do not agree with this decision at all, and we're going to be dog shit next year. Robbie.
Till I see you again. Is that you singing there?
Now turn that fucking shit off.
When I see you again,
You're going to get us in trouble. We just got demonetized from the millions of dollars we make from this podcast. How do you feel?
Would you want to hear how Myles Garrett feels about this?
I love Nick. I think a lot of the guys who are in this locker room still feel the same way, as I do. It crushed us to see him get injured, not have to battle through, and then, it happened again. So, we want the very best for him. Happy to see him still able to play, still able to do his thing. Want to see him go back to being the player that he was and have a smile on his face, continue to ball out.
I mean, first and foremost, dude, that guy is terrifying.
His arms are bigger than my stomach in that same game.
Fucking Christ.
If he came up to you and said, "Give me your wallet," what would you do?
I would have to give him my wallet, but like I said, might be something coming a little racy from Robert's side.
Why? That's just a genuine question. I don't get what's so racist, Zachary. I don't get it.
Well, anyways, we're going to leave that one there, folks. No, Robbie, I agree with what he said. I think everyone in Cleveland Brown Nation, players included, they are going to wish nothing but the best for Mr. Nick Chubb. He seems like a guy you just can't hate on, Robbie,
It doesn't make sense how the Browns couldn't fork up 1 year, $2.5 million for him. So.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. It makes no sense to me either. And also, you think like there'd be like a bigger deal. Maybe there was a bigger deal, and he just wanted to sign with a team that actually has a chance of maybe winning something. Not to say the Texans are Super Bowl contenders, but we've seen some bursts of offensive greatness from this squad, so you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd be remiss if we didn't let it know, Robbie. No more Nick Chubb in Cleveland. And no more Jair Alexander for the Green Bay Packers, Robbie. Cutting ties with Jair Alexander, who seems to be a staple for this Packers team for the last little while. Robbie, was this a surprising move?
For them to cut him, yes. I thought they would have toughed it out with him if they couldn't find a team that wanted him. But to see that they cut him. I mean, it is shocking. Peter Scroggs, I believe the gentleman is over here in the Pat McAfee show. He can give us some more information on the reason why he was released in Green Bay. Let's take a listen.
At the end of the day, Jair Alexander didn't want to take a pay cut, and the Packers thought it was fair after 2 years of him only playing so many games that we talk about a contract restructure. And to his credit, Jair Alexander said, $17 million is not top of the market. When I'm on the field, I am worth that, and I am not taking a pay cut based on injury that I have unfortunately been able to deal with the last couple of years and play through in a lot of ways. So he's going to bet on himself. And the Packers, they said, well, we're not betting on that. We don't think you are available for us. And they have 3 young corners who they really like. That said, they're in minicamp right now, and I'm seeing Bo Melton, a receiver out of Rutgers, being played at cornerback because they're so thin right now. There you go, you have it. Because Michael Robinson and Taylor King are out. You don't want to see that either. That said, I wasn't wrong when I said things were trending the right way. What I was wrong was that I was assuming that they would figure things out. To Jair Alexander's credit, you don't want to take a pay cut. I think I'm worth that. And let's see if he can make more elsewhere, because the Packers are going to eat a huge amount of his salary cap regardless with dead space.
So should I try to give our friend Ryan the Meatloaf a phone call to see if he'll answer to talk about Jair Alexander?
Yeah, see if he wants to come on there for a second. And
But that's crazy. That's crazy, dude. I mean, we always talk about, like, you can't get a 7th round pick in return. Like, you can't get nothing for the guy. I have a hard time believing that the market for Jair Alexander is very small.
well, let's see if Ryan answers and see what he has to say about it.
We're calling the Meatloaf. This is our second attempt here on the Sports Cave. I'm not very optimistic here, Zachary.
No.
I love the Meatloaf, but he just does not come through when we need
Your
him.
call has been forwarded.
He viewed
The
me.
person you're trying to reach
Oh, I'm
is
leaving a
not available.
voicemail.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished.
Ask him if his fat fingers must have meant to hit the pickup
If
button
your
instead.
fat fingers meant to hit the pickup button and you hit the FU button instead, we're live here in the Sports Cave. I want a genuine reaction out of our favorite Meatloaf in regard to Jair Alexander no longer being the Green Bay Packers.
Jair.
Instead, you FU'd Zach and I, not just me, Zachary as well. You
Yeah,
have a lot
fuck
of
you, Ryan.
explanation. You have a lot of explaining to do. But before I hit the button on you, I want you to know one thing and one thing only, Ryan the Meatloaf. I love you.
That's super gay. Well, maybe we'll get a voice memo or something back from him. But I guess I got a question to ask you, Rob. I know it's kind of putting you on the spot, but off the top of your head, can you think of some teams that would be picking up the phone and making a phone call here?
Minnesota, Dallas, Detroit, New England, Buffalo. Zachary, there's a ton of teams. I mean, we could say probably 50% of the NFL is now going to call Jair and say, yo, you're getting $17 million still from the Green Bay Packers. We'll give you the veteran minimum for 1 year. You prove yourself, and then you make more money in the next offseason. Because as that gentleman alluded to in the Pat McAfee show, his availability has been the biggest question. God bless your face.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know where the best fit is for him, because a lot of teams could use someone like Jair Alexander, but I can't imagine it's going to take until the training games, whatever the hell they're called. I'm drawing a blank on the actual terminology there. That he'll be signed.
Yeah, I guess it's only a matter of time. I bet you maybe by the time we come back here next week, he will have found himself a new home.
I mean, imagine if he went to Chicago. Oof.
That would be he would be doing that just to like throw some salt in the wound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I saw a thing here where it said the teams that they think are going to reach out. According to NFL and CBS, top landing spots for Jair Alexander after being released. Miami makes sense if they're going to move on from Jalen Ramsey. Would see what's going to happen with that. San Francisco, Philly, the Rams, the Falcons, the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the Ravens. But take this into consideration, Zachary. Any top name is already associated with the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm taking the Cowboys out of the equation. They got Deron Bland and they got Trayvon Diggs. He's not going to the freaking Cowboys.
Yeah, I can't see that one happening there, but I will be curious to see where he does end up going, Robert. I will be very curious to see. We do have one little bit more of NFL news to go over, Robbie, and not the greatest news if you're a Colts fan. The injury problems continue to pile on for quarterback Anthony Richardson. Yet another shoulder injury, Robbie. Didn't really read too much into it, but I do know that he hurt his shoulder, so I don't know what his status is for week 1, or obviously they're probably not going to release that information now, but I mean, this guy can't stay healthy.
No.
The motherfucker's getting hurt in practice.
This was a concern out of college, and Indianapolis took a risk, and maybe that's why they brought in Daniel Jones, hoping that maybe that if it does work out with AR, they could fall back on Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones, I think, could actually have a pretty good year with Indianapolis, Zach, but like his peak is like top 20, top 25. Daniel Jones isn't the type of guy that's going to win the division for you. He's not better than CJ Stroud. I don't even think he's better than Trevor Lawrence. So what are we really doing here for your Indianapolis?
To me, this guy has played, it seems like 20 football games literally over his college and NFL career.
That's one beer.
Attaboy. Within the last 5 years, it seems like he started in 20 football games, Anthony Richardson.
It's probably a fair number to say.
I mean, it's the guy can't stay healthy. To me, this has been a catastrophic
It's got to be
failure
a diet.
drafting him.
It legitimately has to be a diet thing, dude, because you got a big body. You like, there's a lot of maintenance, and he needs to see whatever Josh Allen is doing, because Josh Allen has no problem playing through injuries or staying healthy enough to play through injuries. I don't know, but it's
That's
definitely
a different beast.
Okay, here we go. Another pour here. What do you think, Zachary? What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, knowing you, I bet you there's going to be some good head on top of it. Boom.
Your sister.
Let's see. This pour is very slow, so it better be good.
not.
So if you do a shit pour slow, I mean, that's just sad.
It's not.
Yeah, the last one was definitely better. It's not bad, but the last one was definitely better.
Definitely. They say it's best to have as much foam as you can because it's healthier.
Well, they say that because what the foam is what makes you feel bloated, I'm pretty sure. So you want to get that much of that decarb air. I don't know. I'm trying to use scientific terms. But you want to get the most of that shit out of there, I guess, if you don't want to feel too bloated. But I just like to smash beers, which I will be doing.
I'm having a very unhealthy last couple days. Maybe that's why I'm just a miserable fuck.
Well, my weekend this weekend will be very unhealthy, Robert, because I am in a stay and play.
In honor of my friend Francis and James, we're dipping in. Checking in. That's what they do. That's what I'm doing. Join the club.
Okay, well, Francis and James like to do stuff with their pinkies. Robert, I believe that's all we got for the NFL news here, my man. What would you
There's
like
a couple
to?
of things I think we could talk about on the top of our heads here.
Well, all right, shoot it.
Stephon Diggs, Mike Vrabel's actually come out to his defense saying that he's actually a very good leader and he's handling everything quite well. And somebody asked Stephon Diggs about the incident on the boat with Cardi B and all them, and his response was, I'm not talking about my personal life, especially the people that I don't know. And Zach, unless it really gets out of proportion, I think that he can stay quiet for now. I think and maybe it's the bias, maybe because I'm a Patriots fan, obviously. This is the first bad video we've seen off the field of Stephon Diggs after all these years. You mean to tell me there's not other players out there doing cocaine? I'm not going to say that they're on a yacht full of a bunch of Instagram models and OnlyFans models, but you don't think there's other athletes doing drugs that it just didn't have to be caught on camera?
I'm sure it's probably a lot of them partying pretty hard in the offseason, Robbie. A lot of a lot of cocaine and hookers. I believe he was doing what the kids are calling Tusi, which is a mixture of cocaine and MDMA, Molly. A little drug lesson for you folks. Excuse me. And, yeah, you know what? Let the man live. It's his off season. He's getting his dick sucked by Cardi B. Obviously, he's probably going to want to get some side pieces because that girl's disgusting. And, you know what? I don't blame him, Robert. He's having his fun. Now,
like we talked about before, Mike Vrabel's the one to lay down the law. I don't anticipate Cardi B being a problem at these Patriots games. I don't see Diggs being a problem. I see him being a leader, something that I think he's been trying to really do the last couple seasons with Buffalo and last year with Houston. But I think that the Patriots are so desperate too. They really have to try to work it out with Diggs, because their receiving group is absolutely terrible. Now, when you bring in Stephon Diggs, this could open things up for Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper at the tight end position. It can finally give Jalen Polk and Demario Douglas some experience as twos instead of the one options, and Kendrick Bourne can separate himself. I mean, with Josh McDaniels come back, this Patriots offense, Zachary, could actually be pretty dynamic and good this upcoming season.
I guess all depends on.
Call me crazy. I'm crazy. All right. I'm crazy. I'm just so excited for the season. When's the last time I've been excited for a season, Zachary? I don't know. I think we had to throw their name in the hat for division winner.
Yeah, I think you're crazy.
They had a very good offseason. Arguably the best in all of football. Would you agree?
I mean, they signed some decent names, but I mean, you still got the Buffalo Bills in their division.
Stephon Diggs, Carlton Davis, Harold Simmons, drafted an incredible lineman, Morgan Moses. They signed the center out of Minnesota as David Andrews retired. And the kid that they drafted out of the Ohio State, the running back, Zach, it all depends on the health of Drake May. Because if he gets hurt and Josh Dobbs is in, then we're looking at trouble.
The alopecia nightmare.
I actually would love to have Jacoby Brissett back. It just sucks that they couldn't work it out. And the crazy thing too is like Jacoby Brissett last year understood that he wasn't going to be the guy, and at some point Drake May was going to fill in. Jacoby Brissett was very professional. I have no problems with Jacoby Brissett. Never have, never will. I wish him nothing but the best, and who knows? Maybe he comes back if the alopecia nightmare doesn't pan off.
But you probably will not, Robert.
How many quarterbacks do you have in the Browns room? I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
5.
5?
Well, 5 if you include Watson. But he's not going to be in the room. He's probably going to be missing a lot of the start. But yeah, you got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shador, and Dylan Gabriel. Now I have been hearing some rumblings that Kenny Pickett was a sort of a safety blanket for them if they couldn't get a guy like a Joe Flacco or someone like that to come over. So I've been hearing to expect to see Kenny Pickett be moved. To what team? Not too sure, but
I'll take him.
Well, maybe Robbie, maybe the Patriots will take him.
Because I'd rather have him than Josh Dobbs.
Probably not a bad call.
So you have 5. The Giants have Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito, Jackson Dart, and Russell Wilson. They have 4.
Yep.
The Jets, all I know that they have is Justin Fields. I don't know if they have anybody else outside of that. You know who we might see this year, Zachary? Might see Zach Wilson because one concussion to Tua. We're talking 5-6 weeks out, and Zach Wilson has his opportunity. I really hope that Zach Wilson really works out, dude. Zach Wilson, there's nothing. I mean, he's a MILF hunter, and he can throw the deep ball. What's wrong with that?
Does love mom pussy.
Who's the one viewer in this thing right now? Expose yourself.
Because it might be me.
Oh, we really are a bunch of pathetic.
This is sad.
Honestly, dude, why do we do this anymore? Why do we do this? Why do we do this, Zach? Should we just end the show right now and just say, you know what, we're done?
You know, Robert, might as well.
I'm starting to feel that way. You know, the support that we're getting from our so-called friends, unbelievable. Should I start calling people up on the show right now and tell them that they're jerks? You should too.
Well, Robert, that's not something you do live on the show. That's something.
It's something that we do live. This is what we call entertainment.
We'll start calling some people. I want you.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we still have some people that might listen to on Spotify, so we might as well keep going into some other sports.
Well, maybe this is part of the reason why nobody tunes in is because my internet keeps freaking fading out.
I was gonna say you're frozen. The real seductive looking like lip lick face going on.
I'm getting pissed off.
Excuse me.
I don't know. Anything else with the NFL? Let me check really quick, dude. Let me go on Adam Schefter's shit, see if we missed anything.
Shefty.
The next generation of the Irsay family is going to take over after the unfortunate passing of their father. J.K. Dobbins has finally signed with the team. He is going to the Denver Broncos. You got to remember that they lost their running back, Javonte Williams, to Dallas. So they fill in that void with J.K. Dobbins and rookie R.J. Harvey.
Well, there you go. Not a very dynamic duo.
I think that's all we necessarily have here, man. Oh, no. I don't know how bad this is. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders has been ill and away from the team recently, his source told a college football analyst.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
I hope so. I mean, what if he's getting more toes cut off? Oh, we didn't talk about this, Zachary. Terry McLaurin is not attending the Commanders' mandatory minicamps because of a contract dispute, Zachary. I mean, this is a team that brought in Deebo Samuel. They brought in Laramie Tunsil. And the guy that really was holding all down the wide receiver slot was Terry McLaurin. I mean, they got to figure this out because this guy is clearly
fast.
Yeah, because this is Jaden Daniels' guy. Like, you got to figure this out immediately.
Yeah, you want to hit that over under a 9.5 wins. You better get a contract ready, and you better get a contract ready fast.
Oh, damn. Ooh. Player on veterans deal including the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, and the Steelers, TJ Watt, who are skipping mandatory minicamps, are subject to these fines. Day 1, $17,462. Day 2, $34,925. Day 3, $52,381. 3 days total, $104,768 dull hairs.
Otherwise known as pennies for these guys, but still a lot of cash.
That's like 2-3 years of work for me to reach that $104,000.
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah. Too bad we're not professional athletes. We're fatletes.
Speak for yourself there.
Aaron Rodgers can become one of 5 quarterbacks to beat all 32 teams with the win over the Packers in week 8. Who are the other 4 quarterbacks, Zachary? Do you know?
Oh, God, no. Tom Brady.
That's one. These are all within our lifetime, too. All within our lifetime. So you don't got to think of like Joe Montana or Steve Young or all them. You don't got to think that far.
Russell
These are
Wilson.
no, but these are all like guys that you know.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Ben,
Yep.
Oh, no. I was about to say something stupid. Who else was a guy that was really good that kind of swapped to a few teams? Be like Peyton and Tom are pretty obvious. Kirk Cousins?
No.
Then I'm not. I'm going to be here all night.
No, you're not. You need some hints?
Sure.
Okay. Although they played for one of them played for 2 teams. He won a Super Bowl and the other one is another Super Bowl winner.
Kurt Warner.
No. One of them played for his other teams that he played for was the Jets and the Vikings.
Oh, fucking God! Why am I blanking on his name? He just had a Netflix documentary come out.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I blanking on his fucking name?
Tell me the other team he plays for and I'll give you the name.
Green Bay.
That would be Brett Favre.
Yes. Well, I don't know why I was blanking on his name.
And the other one, his final year was during COVID.
Oh,
His team, I think, had the best record in the NFC South. He beat Tom Brady twice, but lost to Tom Brady the 3rd time.
I don't know.
I know you don't like these games. You made a very valiant effort. I will give you the name. He played for the San Diego Chargers.
Phillip Rivers.
Nope. For a little bit. And his career in New Orleans, that'd be Drew Brees.
Ah, yes. Okay.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. Breeze he didn't even pop into my head, which is kind of fucked up because he is.
Here's why I want to cut you some slack, because there's probably like the select people that listen to this probably listen and go, oh, that's easy. Zach hasn't been paying attention to football as much as us folks. He's got into the game a couple years before COVID. And what we're doing here is we're giving him some knowledge about the game of football.
We're learning, motherfucker.
Will Zach remember this by tomorrow? No, he won't. But we hope one day that he will remember for at least a couple days.
Well, we hope, but it probably will not happen.
No, you're a loser.
Whoa. All right, Robbie. I think it's time that we slide it over, and I'm going to give you the benefit. I'm going to give you the complete freedom to choose our next path. That is the noise all you folks like to hear. It is the hockey time on the Sports Cave. Before we get into the Stanley Cup news here, Robert, there is a couple of awards that have been announced. I believe the award show goes down tomorrow night, or in 2 nights maybe. I think it might be Thursday night at 6 p.m. is when the actual awards go down. But as of today, the Jack Adams Award, Coach of the Year, has been presented to Washington Capitals coach Spencer Carberry. I almost said Cadbury because that's what it spelled corrected you here. Spencer Carberry. not that surprising, really. A team that had the best record in the NHL. Terrible playoffs for them, but at the end of the day, I mean, kind of a award I believe that is well deserved. Next on the list here, Robbie, the Ted Lindsay Award, which is the MVP, which is decided by the NHLPA, has been awarded to Mr. Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And last but not least, Lane Hudson from Montreal wins the Calder Trophy for the league's top rookie. I feel like this was one that we kind of saw coming here, Robbie. He was definitely the most dynamic player as a rookie so far this year in the NHL. But enough of those fucking awards, which why even hold an award ceremony if you're going to literally announce every single award before the award ceremony begins? Stupid as fuck in my opinion. But nonetheless, Robbie, we got some Stanley Cup hockey playoffs finals to discuss here, Robbie. As it sits today, Florida Panthers 2, Edmonton Oilers 1. Oilers take game 1 in Edmonton in a thrilling win. Florida Panthers bounce back in game 2 with an overtime winner by Brad Marchand. And then in game 3, the Florida Panthers put absolute belt to ass. 6-1 victory, a shit kicking on the ice. I believe it was the 4th most penalty minutes in Stanley Cup Finals history at like 146. Fights everywhere, playoff hockey, big hits. You love to see it. Robbie, have you been catching any of this finals? Or I know the game's a little bit too late for our sort of schedule.
It's been late for our schedule, and softball's been kind of interfering outside of even yesterday. Softball was interfering, but the one person I see that's really in control for the Panthers right now is that dirty son of a bitch rat, Brad Marchand.
Well, he's having a great playoff. Sam Bennett for the Florida Panthers is having an unbelievable playoff, and at the most opportunistic time for him.
He's raising his value.
Yeah, just going to say, he is going into a contract this offseason. He'll be one of the top UFAs heading into this sort of free agency pool here. I believe Mitch Marner will be the top name on that list, but Sam Bennett would be a pretty solid number 2, number 3 on that free agency list as per the best available. Excuse me. And, I mean, the guy's got 14 goals this playoffs, Robbie. 12 of them on the road, a new NHL record. Most road goals in a playoff run. 12 goals on the road.
Do you think he goes back to Boston? I think he goes back to Boston.
Brad Marchand?
Yeah.
I think he's going to – I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to go back to Boston. I think there's way too much bad blood and bad taste in his mouth from the way that the management crew just treated their captain and like heart and soul of their team. You just give them away for because you're off by a few $1 million on a contract. I think you're absolutely ridiculous. I don't think he's going to go back to Boston. I really don't know where he's going to go because Florida's going to be in a bit of a cap situation.
They can't get both Marchand and Bennett.
No, and I'm pretty sure they also have to sign Sam Reinhart. I could be wrong on that, but that's going to be another guy making probably $11 million a year, like another top player.
God,
So-
I don't know how, but if there was some way, call me crazy, Zach. I know you hate the fuck, and I hate him too. What if we could just get him in Toronto, bro? He could change it. He could.
Well, I actually have. I mean, there's been some rumblings that obviously the Leafs are going to be a team to make a phone call to him in this offseason. The guy's a proven game player. He's now scored in 7 Stanley Cup final games. I'm pretty sure it is, but throughout his career, been in 3 finals now. So,
Spilled my beer. That was catastrophic.
uh-oh.
I
But
saved it.
yeah, the Florida Panthers probably right now are a team that are they're just on fire. I mean, Bobrovsky's playing fantastic. The only guy I'm really not noticing too much of, and I'm gonna say it's because he's dealing with an injury, is Matt Tkachuk. Like I just don't hear his name being popped up. You don't see his name being popped up on the score sheets. But everyone else is stepping up. And Robbie, their defense are fucking massive. Like they're all absolute tanks. And it's proving to be a little bit too much for this Edmonton Oilers team here so far through 3 games. I mean, last night, if that's any indication, that was a message sent. One of the worst playoff games I think I've ever seen Edmonton play. The Florida Panthers, just from the opening puck drop, were just taking the game to them physically, mentally. Like it was a beautiful display of skill there, Robert.
Now, do you remember when Paul Bisnett said it's hard for teams to sign players when you have Florida with the no state tax? So Gary Bettman was on with the crew.
Yeah.
And he had a response to Paul Bisnet. And for those of you that missed, here's the clip here.
Predictable.
I don't want to take anything away from the teams from Florida and the state of Florida.
But do it anyway.
Ace put me in a headlock when I brought this up on the broadcast in the conference final. Any plans maybe in the future to implement a balance as far as the no state tax? And
No, you know, when you start,
I'm just asking.
It's
Gary.
it's a ridiculous issue. When the Florida teams weren't good, which was for about 17 years, okay, nobody said anything about it. And you know, for those of you who played, okay, were you sitting there with the tax table? No, you wanted to go to a good organization in a place where you wanted to live, where you wanted to raise your kids and send them to school. You wanted to play in a first-class arena with a first-class training facility, with an owner, an organization, a GM, and a coach that you were comfortable with, and you wanted to have good teammates so you'd have a shot at winning. That's what motivates it. Could it be a little bit of a factor if everything else were equal? I suppose, but that's not it. And by the way, state taxes high in Los Angeles, high in New York. What are we going to do? Subsidize those teams?
Can we take tax away from the province of Ontario at least, just for the Leafs' sake? We need something, Gary.
You know, I was watching you during the prior rounds. Your attire was a little suspect in terms of your journalistic objectivity.
You just said 3 words that I don't know who's got the next question.
Confused it. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm on Bettman's here. I'm on Bettman's side. I am.
as a Toronto fan, I would like to see them do something, but he does have a good point. I mean, no one talks about it. The Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, Tampa Bay at least had a cup win in 2004.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The Florida Panthers have been just a laughing stock for, well, he's right, about 15 years. So,
but I think the more that this subject gets brought up and the attention to it, I think it's going to benefit the state of Florida. It's going to benefit Tampa. And it's going to benefit Miami, or, well, I mean, basically is Miami over there with the Panthers. We could see teams start moving to Florida because of this, Zach. No funny shit. I mean, this is possible because the more the subject gets brought up, we could see teams like Anaheim, who haven't been really successful in terms of attendance, go over there. We could see Columbus go over there. We could see San Jose go over there.
Speaking of Anaheim, Robert, there's been some news, some rumors circulating around that the Anaheim Ducks are preparing an offer of $14 million a year for Mitch Marner as July 1st. That is a rumor that's being circulated around right now. So,
bye.
See you later, big guy.
That's crazy. Zach, honestly, call me crazy too. I wouldn't be upset in the slightest if the Leafs didn't spend too much of their cap space to prepare for next offseason.
I mean, they're going to have to do. They still have a team that can compete. You know what I mean? You lose Marner. The only thing that worries me a little bit about that is I saw a stat today, and Austin Matthews has like 400 and something career goals now with the Maple Leafs, and like 350 of them are assists from Mitch Marner. So you might see a slight dip in maybe goal production, at least at the start of the season next year for Matthews.
Do you think Max Domi could slide over to that slot?
He could, but I mean, he's not going to be a player like Mitch Marner. I think if they're going to get rid of Mitch Marner, they're going to have to go on the free agent market, and they're going to have to get a winger like a Brock Besser or like a Nikolai Ehlers or someone with like a skill point that you're going to get at around that $7-8 million a year mark instead of the $12 to $13 million a year mark. To put with a guy like Austin Matthews. A Brock Besser, I don't think would be that good of a fit because he's not much of a playmaker. Ehlers, I don't really watch too much, so I'm not exactly sure how he would slot in, but they're going to have to find someone with some playmaking ability to throw up on that top line, and I would not want to see Max Domi take those sort of minutes on.
The thing about Matthews is he's not necessarily as much as a playmaker, correct?
He's a sniper, but I mean, he still has some vision out there, but his main thing is sniping.
Right. So you can't put him and Willie on the same line because both their credentials are sniping. I mean, if you can't play make for one another, then you're kind of your hands kind of twisted there. You agree? Your wrist's kind of twisted there.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely try them out, but again, it's not like Mitch Marner's when he gets on the ice, his first mindset is I need to find Mr. Austin Matthews here in the open ice. Whereas Willie would probably have more of the mindset as I need to find the back of the fucking net right now. So
Matthews. So it's hard to imagine what would work with Matthews. You could have Nyes out there because he's the rough horse. But if Nyes has been progressing throughout the years, dude, if there's a chance that he could implement playmaking into his game, then maybe it is a beneficial factor to keep Matt Nyes, correct? But then it's with that third line, Would you put Domi up there?
Yeah, the throw. I mean, people do forget we do have Scott Lofton still, who's he didn't have a great stint with the Leafs coming into after the trade deadline last year, coming from Philadelphia, but that's also the guy's coming into a whole new scheme. Like he's a great hockey player, Scott Lofton. He's not going to put up a bunch of points, but for a third line center, I would not be too upset if he was there. I'd prefer him in the fourth line. Hopefully, we can get a guy like John Tavares to come back on a team-friendly deal.
He's going to come back.
Matt Nyes obviously is a name, and then Robbie, honestly, a guy like a Brad Marchand, like why not make a phone call for him? Or
would you overpay for Brad Marchand? Would you give him $6 or $7 million?
No, not at this time of his career.
You wouldn't do it for 1 year?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
I think I would.
$6-7 million is a lot of money, and I bet you Brad, his point in his career now, he's going to be looking for at least a 3-year deal. He's had some injuries now in the past. Trying to secure one more little bag before you ride off into the sunset.
Zach, I really think they need to bring in Brad Marchand at all costs, honestly. Zach, they need someone that's going to hold the team accountable. They need someone with championship pedigree. They need someone that's going to take them to the next step. And I don't think there's anyone else out there more that could do all that than Brad Marchand.
You imagine if Kloof was here right now listening to this talk?
He'd be disgusted by us. Should I call him? No one's listening, so you might as well just try to call all of them.
Yeah, give him a call.
Watch him burst out in laughter or confusion. Which one are you going to go with? I'm going to go with laughter.
You're probably going to get a little laugh. Second live phone call today on the Sportscape. Let's see if Kloof picks up.
I was going to say, I don't think he's going to pick up. No one's going to pick up for us. We're not loved anymore, Zach. People forgot that we're live on Tuesdays. Except for Dad. You guys need to make a truce.
I mean, I'll try. He's just a piece of shit.
It's not nice. He's my father. Your father doesn't even listen.
He's on a working computer.
Teach him.
Yeah, we're getting nowhere today, folks.
Well,
and that's it for the Sportscape tonight, guys. We will see you guys
thanks for tuning in
next Tuesday.
Go fuck yourself.
Robbie, the last little bit of NHL news before we slide into NBA.
As we're just talking to ourselves here.
Yeah, the time has come. Pete DeBoer, his time in Dallas behind the bench is over. Fired after a third straight Western Conference Final exit. Pete DeBoer has had success up until the Western Conference Final, Robbie. He's been a fantastic coach, undefeated in Game 7s. But when you can't get past the Western Conference Final 3 years in a row with a team like Dallas, I guess that's when the short leash becomes even shorter. Pete DeBoer, I don't think will be out of a job for too long, probably as long as he wants to be out of a job. I'm sure there's a few teams that would be calling his phone right now. But as it sits right now, Robbie, Pete DeBoer fired from the Dallas Stars.
Not shocking at all. Not shocking at all.
And they did say afterwards that his comments about Jake Ottinger and the way he handled the situation definitely played a role into that. So seems like Dallas making the wise decision, choosing their star goaltender over the head coach here.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame it all either, Robbie, but definitely something we needed to discuss there. But you know what, Robbie? No one's even listening, so why don't we just go right into NBA?
Yeah, that's fair.
Four-three.
It's the NBA and the Sportscape. All of our fans are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, we fucking suck. You guys fucking suck.
Honestly, dude, I'm honestly very annoyed right now. And I don't think it's the alcohol in me. I think it's just the lack of support. That's the thing, dude. Hold on. I got to go on a rant now.
Here we go.
Do you know how many freaking things have gone Facebook in the last 2 weeks about supporting businesses and softball teams and whatever it is? Hell, it might even be charities. You know what? They can all go to hell. If you ain't supporting me, I ain't supporting you. I know the ones who've been supporting me since I've been doing this, and I will support you. I'm not supporting these other people. These people I just met a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Fuck your GoFundMe.
Go to hell. Your business, I hope it fails.
Okay.
No, I'm going that far, dude, because you know what, people? The thing is people ask me what I do. Send me the link so I can listen. I send the link. Do they listen? No. So because you ain't listening, I ain't supporting your business. I hope you go bankrupt. I hope you go millions of dollars in debt. That's
Say
the
names.
No, I'm not going to say names yet. because this continues where we have this one person who's you, and I can understand Dad's perspective because he's working. I get where he's coming from, but like, honestly, dude, like I'm so fed up. I really am.
Yeah, one viewer, folks, tonight, and it is me watching at home as I'm doing the show.
I think I'm going to grab another beer. This is the second one. I'm feeling good. I think I might be drinking 3 tonight. I might say something just to get us some viewers.
Okay, Robbie is thinking about, like I said, folks, maybe getting mildly racist. But it is basketball time here, folks. Obviously, NHL Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, always comes at the same time as the NBA Finals. We will get into that in 1 second, but we do have a little bit of news to go over.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do I put like one of those like depressing, like in need of help Facebook statuses in terms of the podcast?
I mean, if you feel like you have to, Robbie.
I don't know, Zach. I mean, honestly,
I think today's episode might be a write-off.
Dude, we went a couple months ago where like our numbers were like peaking up. It's like the sky's the limit, and we're back down to fucking rock bottom. We're a bunch of pathetic losers.
Yeah, you could have said it better myself.
And the other, one more thing. I'm sorry. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to make an account on Twitch or YouTube to follow us. And people don't have 5 to 10 minutes to do that, but they have 5 or 10 minutes to scroll through stupid, ridiculous TikToks where you have people like Ashton Hall who are on steroids watching videos of him putting his face in ice cold water and wiping his face off with freaking banana peels. And it's entertainment value.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Well, Robbie is feeling it tonight, folks. And with that, Robbie, a couple guys that are also feeling it in the injury department. Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers likely to miss the start of the season after having toe surgery, Robert.
This guy, at one point, Zach, it almost seemed like he was back to full form of where he was 2 years before, a year or two before when they brought in Donovan Mitchell. Remember there was that one time he had like 35 points and 20 assists. You're like, holy shit, the sky's the limit. They brought in Donovan Mitchell. He digressed. And then he started to progress under Kenny Atkinson. And you knew there was something wrong. And if this was what was wrong, it was part of the Cleveland Cavaliers' demise, man. Darius Garland actually plays a very important factor to the success of this Cleveland Cavs team. And trying to find a replacement for Darius Garland wouldn't be easy. A lot of teams, I think, would very much answer the phone call from Cleveland and say, we will offer you a couple 2 or 3 first-round picks for him. He's very valuable.
Yeah. I feel like if you're Cleveland, you're not looking for that sort of trade right now.
No, I honestly think Cleveland has a great thing going. Donovan Mitchell knows it too. I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to play in Cleveland, but I think he knows with this roster constructed, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, himself, and Garland, when they're all healthy, they could win a championship. The only thing I think that really screwed them over, and maybe it's the bias in me, I view Karis LeVert as a better basketball player than DeAndre Hunter. They traded for DeAndre Hunter. They moved on from Karis LeVert. DeAndre Hunter's points per game average is going to be up there, and the only reason why, Zach, is because Atlanta's not a very good defensive team, but they're going to shoot the hell out of the basketball with Trae Young. So they're always up there in terms of points per game total as a team, but their defense is atrocious. Outside, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name who averaged like 3 steals per game for the first time in a very long time of players done that. Dyson Daniels, I think his name is, right?
Sure.
That name might, TJ would know. Oh my God, Zachary, it's a freaking miracle. We have a second viewer. Who are you? It's Dad.
It's Bob back.
It's Dad.
It's got to be Bob for sure. Bob, welcome back. Just so you know, Bob, you've been our only viewer tonight.
You have to be friends with him. You have to be.
Bob, I'm going to be nice to you tonight because you're the only one that's showing some support. Unless this isn't Bob, who is lurking? Write in the comments, please, because this has been a depressingly sad episode.
Do you know who gets 2 people? 2 people get excuses for not being here. Number 1, our friend Marcuzio. It is Dad.
Bob. It's
Marcuzio. I told him he needs to get back into the streaming. Marcuzio was doing Tuesdays and Thursdays for the longest time. Marcus gets a pass. Second one is Carlover. Carlover lives in freaking Latvia.
And isn't Steve working?
No, I don't think Steve's working. I think he was first shift.
That fucking cock-sucking asshole.
Should I? No, I'm not going to keep calling people during the show. I'm not going to keep doing this. Darius Garland, at least it's at the beginning of the season. It's not going to be too detrimental, but the Cavs holding that number 1 spot is going to be in jeopardy with the absence of Darius Garland. And whatever injury Evan Mobley was dealing with, that needs to get situated immediately as well.
Well, Robbie, and unfortunate news too. Darius Garland's not the only one that is looking like they might miss some time to start off the season, as well as Memphis center Zach Edey had some ankle surgery, could miss the start of the season as well. Robert.
Yeah, that's Memphis is intriguing in the offseason because I do think they are going to move on from what the fuck is his name? Fucking John Morant.
Really?
I do think honestly, Zach, I mean, there's been times where they looked better without John Morant than with him.
You get a pretty spicy package for him.
Oh yeah. Would they though? I mean people
I
are going to
assume
look at
so.
the offseason. Well, I think people will look at the offseason incidents and be like, I don't know.
I don't know, he cleaned it up a little bit this year. He's throwing grenades now instead of shooting the crowd, so.
I guess, man.
And then, Robbie, last little bit of news before we get into the NBA Finals. There is a head coach being linked to the New York Knicks, and his name is Mr. Jason Kidd. How does that work? Is he not now? I don't want to watch too much basketball. He is not. Is he not a coach right now?
He's under contract with Dallas, but they could release him, I believe.
Well, and apparently, from what I saw, there is mutual interest in that compartment. So,
yeah, it's Zach. Honestly, dude, I don't think the Knicks are going to get better post Tom Thibodeau. I don't. I think they're going to get worse. I think there's going to be increased frustrations with the team overall with the absence of Tom Thibodeau. I mean, dude, honestly, look at their bench. Did he not have a choice? Honestly. Now
you got to play the guys, yeah.
That has a point here. I mean, let's not forget Doc Rivers was traded for picks. Maybe that's what the Knicks have to do, but they don't have much left. Because of the Bridges trade. They don't have a bench, dude. Mitchell Robinson didn't come back till like the very end of the season, so you can't make that argument for most of the season. They didn't have Mitchell Robinson. Deuce McBride was a good fill-in if Brunson was struggling or in trouble, or Josh Hart or Bridges. They don't have a bench, bro. It's non-existent. And they don't have a first-round pick this year for this upcoming draft. It's Brooklyn, so they can't draft a young guy and hope that it pans out. They don't have a bench. And they don't have the cap space either, because if they had the cap space, bro, Isaiah Hartenstein would have been back. They don't have the cap space. They don't have – now, they'll have more money this year because Jalen Brunson was a team player. And if he had signed a contract extension this offseason, it would have been $100 million more than last season. But the other problem is there's not a lot out there this year for the free agent market. There's not, dude. It's like Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Kyrie, who I think has a player option, Harden. LeBron's already opted into his player option. They're not getting Naz Reid. They're not getting Julius Randle back. Brook Lopez isn't going to go there. Like, there's nothing that's going to help this team this offseason, Zach.
Yeah.
Nothing. And from what I've seen is that Giannis hasn't requested a trade out of Milwaukee. Milwaukee hasn't asked anybody to trade for Giannis and isn't taking any phone calls. So the Knicks aren't going to have enough to offer for Giannis. You can offer Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and I think the Bucks still say no. If you want Giannis Antetokounmpo, I mean, if Rudy Gobert and Mikal Bridges are going for 5 first-round picks, Zach, I think you're going to need to give up 7 or 8 first-round picks to get Giannis. And I'm sorry, there's not a lot of players worth that.
Yeah, and apparently there's a lot of reports coming out that it looks like Giannis is going to remain a Milwaukee Buck. So
Giannis, I think, is very loyal to Milwaukee just because like his attitude is a lot different from like LeBron, from Kevin Durant. You know, there's not a lot of like if you think of loyalty in the NBA, the only honestly, I think it's I'll throw Brunson in there, honestly. After what Jalen Brunson did last offseason, I'm throwing Brunson in the equation. He might not play for the Knicks his whole career, but to sacrifice $100 million to make your team better, I'm throwing Brunson in there.
You don't see that happen very often.
I'm going to say Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Maybe Devin Booker. Maybe Devin Booker will. So I will go 4. Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry as the last we see of loyal players in the NBA. I think
it's a short list.
I think Zion wants out in New Orleans, but they're just continuously offering him the bag, and it's like, who's going to turn down the bag? Who's going to turn down the bag?
And I see Bob making a reference here to Durant, saying even though the Knicks and Durant were connected,
Dad, I don't think KD has mutual interest. I really don't.
I
Because
think if he's come out and said he wants to go to the Spurs.
Dad, let's be honest here. They threw this out when he signed with Brooklyn that there was mutual interest. They had the wrong New York team. I think Kevin Durant has no interest in playing in Phoenix. And honestly, if you're going to acquire Kevin Durant, you got to trade for him. And I think it'd be wrong if the Knicks trade either Bridges or Anunoby to acquire Kevin Durant. He's not going to the Knicks. I'll throw $100 down with anybody that thinks that he's going to the Knicks. You owe me 100, I owe you 100. There's no chance in hell he goes to the New York Knicks.
Well, those are terrible odds.
As you alluded to, I don't give a fuck. As you alluded to, San Antonio was in the mix. Houston's in the mix. OKC is in the mix.
That'd be a nice little reunion.
I wonder how Steve would feel about Kevin Durant afterwards.
Well, I think you'd have to love him.
Oh, did you see Stephen A. Smith said that if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins the finals for the OKC, he's the best player in the franchise's history?
I did not see that.
I disagree, bro. I disagree. When Katie left, Russ was holding down the fort. And you know how anti-Russ I am. Russ is the greatest OKC player of all time.
I mean,
Russ
as it
brought
stands
in
now,
Paul George. Russ brought in Carmelo Anthony.
as it stands now, yeah, but I think if Shai keeps doing what he's doing, he'll definitely he'll surpass.
Disagree. I think it's going to be. And damn it. I'm sorry. I have to do it. I have to do
Well,
it.
what if he wins a fucking championship with something Russ never did?
It's still Russ.
So Shai wins 4 championships for OKC, and Russ is
Oh,
still
he
the
wins.
best player?
No. He's talking just after this championship, bro.
No, I'm talking about. I said he's going to surpass him is what I'm saying. Not after this championship, but in his career.
He could. You're right.
Your call has been forwarded.
All right, we are 0 for 3. Yay!
You know who I called there, right?
That was Steve, right?
Yeah. I could call one more person, but I'll let you talk, and I'm going to call this person.
Well, Robbie, I'm going to get into the NBA Finals here. OKC, Indiana Pacers. A lot of people had OKC maybe with a sweep, five game series. Indiana Pacers come out and shock OKC and the basketball world by stealing game 1 right from underneath the toes. Oh, do we have a speaker here, Robbie? You're lagging like a motherfucker. I'm not too sure. I think he's muted his mic, so I'm going to keep going here. Indiana takes game 1 on a buzzer beater from Tyrese Halliburton. Well, not really a buzzer beater. 0.03 seconds or 0.3 seconds left on the clock shot. So essentially a buzzer beater from Tyrese Halliburton, a dagger in a game where they did not lead for 1 second up until that 0.3 second mark. The comeback kids, the team that never quits, this Indiana Pacers team showed a lot of heart, grit, and dedication in that game 1 victory over OKC. And a lot of people probably started having some questions. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so I called a good friend of mine here. He's been a lifelong OKC fan, and I want to get his opinion on the take that Stephen A. Smith had today on First Take. So, Deshaun, I got a question for you, brother. So, Stephen A. Smith said that if SGA wins the championship for OKC, that he will be the greatest player in OKC's franchise history. But I ask you, after 1 championship, could you surpass over Russell Westbrook after what Russ did post KD?
That's a good one, brother. That's a good one. Nah, I'm choosing Shai, bro.
You're choosing Shai over Russ.
It's Shai. It's not Shai anyway. But yes, brother, I have to, unfortunately.
Why? Because he got the championship?
He's not only got the championship, but he's playing better winning basketball. I don't think Russ ever really, played that winning basketball that Shai is with his young team at that. Come on now.
You heard it here from an OKC fan, Zachary. We need an OKC
There
fan.
you go.
Thank you, Deshaun. You have a great day now, brother.
You always well, brother.
Deshaun.
Definitely a white guy.
No.
Sounds like a good guy.
He's Puerto Rican as fuck.
Puerto Rican?
Yeah, Deshaun Puerto Rican.
I would have guessed African-American myself.
My
To be
guy.
honest with you.
I'm glad my cousin found a great guy. Deshaun, appreciate you, bro.
With that, I'm just going to say right now, that sounds like your cousin's gay.
What?
You said I'm glad my cousin found a great guy?
Correct. She found a great guy.
Oh,
More.
I don't know why I just assumed a male cousin.
You're an absolute idiot.
Well, congratulations to
I have
Robbie's
all male cousins, bro.
female cousin. Like I was saying, Robbie, Indiana Pacers steal game one on a absolute dagger from Tyrese Halliburton. In a game that they did not lead for 1 second, they steal it, just rip the rug right from underneath the feet of OKC. And a lot of people will probably have the panic button about to be pushed. Like
No,
Robbie.
I don't think so.
Well, can I tell you what I think the series is going to be a lot like, Robbie?
Yes.
It's going to be a lot like when the 76ers made the finals with Allen Iverson. You know, you get that great win. You tickle the balls. You get that great win in game one, and you go, oh, my God, we have a chance. And then you get absolutely steamrolled 4 games in a row afterwards.
Yeah. OKC has the depth that Indy doesn't have. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't think it matters who you put in front of OKC. I think they're going to steamroll anybody. The Knicks, the Celtics, the Cavs. They have depth upon depth. And who was the team that gave their toughest comp sack? Was it who the fuck gave their toughest comp sack that I'm drawing a blank on?
Denver.
Was it Denver? Yeah, it was Denver.
7-game series.
That was the closest team that could have edged them out, dude, because Denver had the depth, but the second that Aaron Gordon couldn't play in game 7 is when it all separated. The Celtics maybe could have, but honestly, dude, like, we still don't have answers to this day of the severity of whatever illness that Kristaps Porzingis was battling through.
And we'll probably never know.
Could be AIDS.
It might be the HIV. So, you know what? We're going to say that now on the show, that it has been reported now that Kristaps Porzingis was, in fact, dealing with an AIDS outbreak throughout the NBA playoffs.
Why are we? You're reporting that. Don't get me.
No, we as a sports cave are reporting this as a duo.
I, Robin Clark, have no affiliation. This is Zach's podcast. Zach's been doing this podcast since 2018. This is Zach's idea.
Not me. Not me. But Robbie, I think we're both in agreement here that this that was a big wake up call for OKC in game one, and I'm assuming it's going to be 4 straight wins. Obviously,
game 3 is going to give us all the answers that we know, because if Indy can keep it close, maybe it goes to 6 or 7. But if OKC really handles business in game 3, it's over. It's over.
It's a critical, I'm going to say, must-win game for either
more
team.
than ever in Indy's lifetime. But the one thing, OKC has some very passionate fans. Indiana is arguably the state of basketball. You know, we are the basketball capital of the world over here in Hartford in terms of college. But if we're talking college and professional basketball, it's Indiana.
Caitlin Clark,
the Pacers for years, even when they've been bad. Indiana Hoosiers, like, they are the state of basketball. Zachary, speaking of UConn, they're going under renovation over there at the XL Center. I think it's too many years too late, because maybe we could have had the Whalers back if they did this pre-COVID. I'm very excited to head over to the XL Center for some UConn basketball this year with the new renovations done at the arena, which, by the way, is no longer named the XL Center, Zachary. It is now named People's Bank Arena. And there's been a lot of outrage in Hartford because of the name, because it was the Civic Center, it was the XL Center, now it's People's Bank Arena, so people are crying. But it's like, bro, if People's Bank is going to pay money, if they're going to pay money,
their name's going to go on the side.
Then who cares? Who cares, dude?
Aaron,
oh my God.
A 2-run home run by Aaron Judge, 469 feet. The Yankees lead 2-0.
Well, Robbie, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say more so about NBA, but we can get into some MLB if you'd like.
We could, but like, I need to see if this freaking home run is out here, dude. Because if it's 469 feet, Zachary, holy shit.
It's a big bomb.
Oh my God, dude. I mean,
bomb.
this guy, I love this man. I don't love men, but there's something different about him.
Like you would suck him dry? And that is the yes, folks. Silence spoke volumes.
All right, Zachary, you go ahead here. You do.
All right. Well, Robert, you brought up Mr. Aaron Judge, so why don't we get into your New York Yankees here?
Why don't we see the home run?
Sure. You got it.
2-0. Swing and a deep blast way out into left field. Judge can't stop, won't stop. Why would he?
That definitely went over the scoreboard. You see all the fans over there?
They're all
Swing
looking.
and a deep
Where is that
blast
motherfucker?
way out into left field. Judge can't stop, won't stop. Why would he? 2-run jack in the first. 2-0 Yankees. Unbelievable.
$169 feet, 118 off the bat sack. Oh my God.
It's an impressive home run, Robbie, but we need to discuss the New York Yankees as they're starting to lose this big lead in the AL East, Robbie, especially after this weekend as Boston takes 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. I mean, I'm assuming there's no sort of panic coming from your end, but my Blue Jays have been on fire. The Rays have been a good team this year. Red Sox and Orioles are kind of a bit of a different story, but any sort of panic, Robert?
And Baltimore did win 6 games in a row, so maybe if they can make a miraculous stretch here. We got 4 games on Tampa and you guys. You guys are tied right now at 36-30. I'm more so worried about Toronto than I am Tampa. And if Bo Bichette and Vladdy could do their thing with the pitching that you guys have, Jose Barrios, Kevin Gossman, Chris Bassett, Scherzer is going to be coming back at some point. I mean, Zach, you guys, I'll tell you one thing for sure. You have to be buyers at the deadline. You have to be. Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, this year, I think, especially for like the surprising season that we're having, I think it's definitely a year to try to capitalize.
Your season was in the hands, shoulders, and back of Bo Bichette. You know what you're going to get out of Vladdy. Bo had to step up, and Bo has been playing pretty good baseball. Now, does Bo have to hit 25 home runs and 100 RBIs for you guys to be successful? No. If Bo can bat 280 on the year with a 360 on-base percentage in terms of walks and hit by pitches, Zachary, and that's good enough for Vladdy to bring him in. The other X factor for you to be successful is Anthony Santander. You guys spent all that money on him. He's got to wake up and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, he's been sucking a big fat load of cow cock this year. No other way to put it, Robbie.
But your pitching has
He's
saved
also
you.
injured.
Your pitching has saved you. Gossman's been great. Bassett's been great. You knew that bringing in Scherzer, you knew you're going to get maybe 20 games started out of him. He's over 40 years old. Did you see the money that he's making this year, dude? He's getting paid by the Mets still. I think by the Nationals and the Dodgers and you guys. I think the dude's making like $70 million this year.
Wow, it's a hell of a year for a 40-year-old Scherzer. What a cap off the career.
Let me see if I can find it. Max Scherzer. Okay, Max Scherzer is getting paid this year. $15 million from the Nationals, $30,833,334 from the Mets, $12,500 from the Rangers, I said thousand. These are all millions, by the way. Excuse me. $12,500,000 from the Rangers, $15,500,000 from the Blue Jays. So Zachary, let's do some math here, brother. You want to do some math?
Add it up.
Okay. Okay, 15 million plus. I mean, the Mets are paying the bulk of this. 8,333,334 plus 12, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my God, Zach. Max Scherzer this year is getting paid $73,333,334.
Insane pay for 1 year.
That's insane, Zach. That's insane.
$73 million to pitch a ball at 40 years old, folks. Put your kids into baseball.
Yeah, Zach, if you and your girl ever have kids, don't put them into hockey, bro. Basketball or baseball.
Baseball's cheap as fuck, yeah, and these motherfuckers make bank.
Who are you kidding? You're going to try to make him a Toronto Maple Leaf, aren't you?
Yeah, that kid's going to have a terrible childhood, but he's going to be an NHL prodigy. Robert, keeping it in the New York Yankee news here, Giancarlo Stanton has begun a rehab assignment tonight in Somerset, Robbie. And what does this mean for Mr. Ben Rice of the New York
Aren't you
Yankees?
glad I give you these little side notes because you wouldn't even think about Ben Rice? Do you
Who
know
the fuck is Ben Rice? That sounds like a... Is that Uncle Ben's, like the guy that makes the rice?
Ben Rice last year had a 3 home run game against Boston. Zachary, I'll get you Ben Rice's numbers in the year. Ben Rice. Oh, speaking of a Ben Askren
Yeah.
is
Not
in
doing
my,
good.
no. I don't know the severity, but I think it's more concerning than we know.
Well, you know what's bad when you got guys like Dylan Danis coming out on Twitter and actually making like nice heartfelt posts about you.
Yeah, so we don't know what's going on with Ben Askren. I don't think a lot of people do, but prayers.
What is it, like I think it's a really bad staph infection or something I was reading?
Not good.
So pull through, Mr. Ben.
So Ben Rice here is probably the future first baseman for the New York Yankees. He got off to a very hot start to start the season. He's kind of slowed down a bit, but on the year he's batting .241, a .327 on base percentage, a .497 slug. He's above the league average for OPS. He's at .825, but in 6 more games compared to last season, he has 5 more home runs at 12 and then 25 RBIs. With Stanton coming back, I mean, with all the money that he's making, and you've seen what Stanton did in the postseason, the designated hitter slot is all Stanton's. It has to be. And with this elbow tendonitis thing, it's going to be worth watching, but I anticipate the Yankees keeping Ben Rice up. And I think this is going to affect Paul Goldschmidt, which I don't like. I think Goldschmidt's been very good this year, but I've seen videos of Goldschmidt taking reps at second base. So are they preparing for an infield that features Ben Rice at first, Goldschmidt at second, Volpe at short, and Jazz at third? I don't know. I think their original plan, Zach, was to put Ben Rice at catcher, but Austin Wells has been performing very well defensively and offensively this year, where they're not going to put Ben Rice at catcher. So it's like next year, first base, I think, is 100% Ben Rice's. Unless Paul Goldschmidt continues this absolute tear that he's on, and they could sign him to another 1-year deal next season, first base next year is Ben Rice's. But as long as Stanton is healthy, you have to have Stanton at DH. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Got to keep him.
I mean, honestly, dudes. I mean, Zach, when's the last time we ever seen a baseball player carry their team into the World Series like Stanton did? Soto may have had the game-winning home run that led him into the World Series. Stanton was the reason the Yankees made it as far as they did. And Stanton kept
have a heroic or playoff series.
Stanton stole a base. Stanton stole second in one of the games, bro. And unfortunately, Bob Costas was on a call because Stanton's stealing second. And he's safe.
A lot of energy out of Bob Costas. That's what happens when you're 97 years old and you're still commentating baseball.
Dude, if because like he was NBC basketball back then, if he does any NBC basketball games, I'm not watching. That guy is a walking, like, that guy will put you to sleep.
He's a sleepy boy. I'm a fucking sleepy boy.
I'm not.
Robert,
contact lens.
We got ourselves a little bit more baseball news here. 3 more things to go over, and they're all young prospects being called up.
Just go through all. Don't waste your time. Just go through all the names and the teams.
Yeah. Red Sox calling up number 1 prospect Roman Anthony to the big leagues. Royals calling up Jacques Caglianon. And the Milwaukee Brewers calling up star prospect pitcher Jacob Misiorowski.
To me, Zach, it's just like, for the Red Sox, it's desperate time, desperate measures. I think they put Willie Abreu on the IL, and Red Sox fans have been going crazy about calling up Roman Anthony. Jack Caglione, I don't know too much about him, but I know that I think he was the best prospect in the Royals farm system. In Milwaukee, if I take a look at the standings here, they're 5.5 out of the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs have the best record in the end. I don't know. Win percentage here? This is your win percentage. Okay, they have the second best winning percentage in the NL behind the Mets. But Milwaukee's 5.5 back. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. But for the Red Sox, Roman Anthony, they have Marcelo Meyer up. They have Roman Anthony up. I mean, with the Red Sox, Zach, I mean, they have failed so far this season. You would agree?
Yeah, they've been terrible. And we love to see it.
They're 9 games out. They were in the minus the differential for the longest time this season, but after the series with the Yankees, I mean, their differential went up. The fans have been really adamant about just bring up Roman Anthony. We know the season's a wash. We know there's probably a good chance we're not going to make the playoffs. So get Roman Anthony the reps. And do you know that during the Yankee series, he hit a grand slam in AAA 497 feet?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think it was time to bring him up, right? So
He's ready.
Why not see what you got with the young guys? You did this once back then when you had Xander Bogaerts and Mookie Betts. If Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony could be the new Xander Bogaerts and Mookie Betts because they're infielder outfielders, then why not just see what you got? With Milwaukee, pitching, I think, has been an issue all year. I haven't really been keeping up with Milwaukee. And with Kansas City, they don't have the highest payroll. They are 8.5 out in the Central. They're fourth place at 34-32. And you know that your time is limited with championship credentials. So you had to make this move to try to up the scale here. But Milwaukee
spice it up.
But they're down 2-0 right now to New York Yankees. Zachary, are your Toronto Blue Jays playing?
I don't know if yes, they are playing right now. They're up 3-0. They actually just homered 3-0 to the St. Louis Cardinals. One swing of the bat from Andres Jimenez.
He's been a little bit of a disappointment. I'm looking at his numbers right now, dude. He's only batting .212.
Well, a home run. Maybe that'll change the. Maybe that'll change him up a little bit. The Jays. By the way, Robbie.
Question: what's wrong with Vladdy? Why isn't Vladdy playing?
I don't know. I think it might be a rest day for him.
Okay.
Jays also now lead the MLB with 20 comeback wins this season, Robbie. They have been the comeback king so far this year.
That's concerning, bro. That is concerning.
No, comebacks are what we want.
Okay, if you say so.
Keeps it exciting.
I guess. How many Jays games have you watched this year?
0.
Are you serious?
Probably not even one pitch. I don't even think I've seen one pitch. So.
Why?
Because I don't fucking watch baseball. To me, watching on TV is like watching paint dry.
What?
I'd rather watch curling than watch baseball on TV.
No, I needed your perspective on this. I think I sent to you your messages. I know we're going to a completely different sport here. I'm asking you this, but dude, could you listen to Stephen A here?
Yep.
Okay. Here's Stephen A.
What happened to McDavid in Game 3?
Well, listen, it's easy to point the finger at the superstars. They got to show up, and they got to show up on the game sheet. But last night for me, Stephen A., it wasn't just about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl not showing up on the score sheet and not dominating the game. The whole Edmonton Oilers team didn't show up. They didn't show up on time. And Florida dominated them in every single...
What the hell is Stephen A. wearing?
What are both these guys wearing? They both look ridiculous, but Stephen A. looks like fucking The Undertaker or some shit like that. I don't even know. This guy looks ridiculous.
Facet of the game. Physically, on all the faceoffs, special teams, up and down. Listen, Edmonton wasted 40 minutes in this game. They were down 4-1. That's one thing. But they wasted the rest of the time doing all this extracurricular activity. And the Panthers laughed them into a 6-1 victory and a 2-1 lead. So Edmonton's got to regroup.
Let me tell you why I have a problem with what you're saying. First of all, Edmonton got blown out. We understand they got romped. We get that part. Connor McDavid, 13 shots, no goals, 0, nothing in the Stanley Cup. And, oh, by the way, this is a 3-time league MVP. No championship, maybe the greatest that has never won. These are the kind of things you were talking about him from last year.
Okay.
So here we are again, same opponent, same situation, same problem.
Okay.
When do you get to hold a superstar accountable if not under these conditions?
This guy really hasn't watched enough hockey, Zachary. I'll let you take the floor here.
It's the Stanley Cup fucking final, Stephen A. Smith. 13 shots and no goals is actually not many shots. You can have 30. You can have 300 shots and no goals. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. Scoring a goal in the Stanley Cup Finals is hard as fuck. Albeit, I can see one side of what he's saying because it is a guy like Connor McDavid who is a superstar. And I mean, you do expect these guys at some point to find the back and then be difference makers. But Connor McDavid has been a difference maker throughout this entire playoffs. Robbie, actually, while we're here, Can you just go onto Twitter quickly and just pull up the assist that Connor McDavid got in game 2? And I don't know if Stephen A. Smith was able to see this, but this is the type of plays that Connor McDavid makes. Okay, he's not there for the flashy goal. He'll make you look stupid, and then he'll slide it over to Draisaitl, who will rip it back door 10 out of 10 times.
Now, my other thing for you too, Zachary, is the one thing that we know about Bobrovsky compared to the regular season and the playoffs, completely different animal. Completely different animal.
He finds a new step.
Why can't you give credit to Bobrovsky? Why has it got to be Connor McDavid's fault?
Well, Stephen A. Smith, I think, has probably watched and accumulated. He's watched as much hockey as I've watched baseball. Okay?
That's a good point. So these are from different angles, Zachary.
Yes, it's disgusting. See you later. That's the guy that just won the Selke Award, by the way, for the best defensive forward. That's a toe drag around Aaron Ekblad, number 1 overall pick in 2014. And that is, without a doubt, one of the nicest passes I've ever seen in my life.
That's disgusting.
I don't understand how this man just sees hockey. It's like he sees the game at a slow speed and is just able to just do this shit.
Now, do you think that... I think his bias here is him watching the Worlds for the All-Star break, and he saw Connor McDavid put that game-winning goal, and he's like, oh, he's one of the best goal scorers. Connor McDavid is one of the best pure hockey players. He's the best pure hockey player. You know, I remember earlier on in the season, you alluded to Nathan McKinnon could be right there, if not surpass Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid's the best, bro.
Yeah, he's making me eat those words.
He's McJesus. When's the next game? Wednesday or Thursday?
Now, I will say this, though. Nathan McKinnon still does have more goals this playoffs than Connor McDavid, and he hasn't played in two series. I'm just saying.
Don't try to defend your point, bro. Seriously.
I'm just saying it's a point that needs to be heard.
Don't be a fucking idiot.
It's a point that needs to be heard.
No, I think you're retarded. So next game is Thursday, 8 o'clock. I probably will be tuning in late.
Yeah, Thursday I'm playing softball, so
I guess. Oh, your softball season started as well?
Yeah, we're undefeated. We are 6 wins, 2 ties.
I think we're 5-1 on the year.
Well, Robert, it's 8:03. What do you say we get into some U.S. Open golf, and then we end off this motherfucking stream?
Well, we have some UFC to recap.
And some UFC to recap as well.
Can we do UFC first?
Let's do UFC first.
Okay, hold on. Let me find the Bruce Buffer thing here. Please hold. Oh, well, I got to go to my favorites. It's worth it because, you Bruce yourself. Bruce Buffer. He can hype us up. Zachary, honestly, dude, I don't want to waste too much time on Merab. I turned it off after a certain fight. That's why I said I want to waste time on Merab and O'Malley. Merab, I believe, absolutely dominated O'Malley, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of just overall in general. Merab landed 141 strikes on 250 attempts to Sean's 38 on 65 attempts. He just dominated O'Malley. This is the fight that I want to talk about here that just absolutely made me turn it off and was absolutely disgusted. Zachary, if you didn't get a chance to watch Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix, Zach, Patchy Mix was dominating Bellator / PFL for a while. And a lot of times when you see these guys come in from Bellator PFL, MVP, Michael Venom Page, Michael Chandler, those are the two that first pop up to my head. They made immediate impacts, correct?
I would say so, yeah.
Patchy Mix. I think my grandfather in that living room would have put up a better fight than Patchy Mix did. He looked like he was going through the basics. He looked like he didn't care. He looked like he didn't give a rat's ass. Cement, non-movement, a typical just like jab with regular motion. Zach, I don't know what one of these judges was watching. Bautista got 30-27 and 129-28. There wasn't a single round that me, Steve, Plouffe, and the Gentleman's Cigar Lounge that we were at watched and saw a single round that Patchy Mix won. For you to get your UFC debut and have the opportunity to prove yourself at the mecca of mixed martial arts to get dominated like that, Zach, this is the part of the reason why UFC isn't entertaining for me anymore. This is why I don't care for the UFC as much as I once did. This is why, in my opinion, that the UFC is a dying sport, because you have these stupid Dagestanians who love to hug people and don't do nothing. They just love to hug them. They don't do nothing. They don't try to assert any sort of hits, any submissions. They just hug for control points. And then you have instances like this where they really hype up a guy from PFL/Bellator and they do absolutely jack squat. After that fight, Zachary, we all left the cigar lounge. We said, well, this card's going to suck. I didn't watch the following 3 fights. I did not watch the decision of Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pfeiffer, which was a unanimous decision. I did not watch Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison, because we all know women's fights are a good time for a piss break, which landed with a submission. And I did not watch Merab versus Sean O'Malley. UFC is, in my opinion, and I'm not the type, neither, Zach. I think you are too. We are not the type that we need to see knockouts every second. If there's a ground game and they're doing consistent transitions, submission attempts, some striking, that's entertaining. When you have people like Patchy Mix and the fight with Rose Namajunas, and I think it was Zhang Wei Li, where they just literally stood around for 5 rounds, that's the problem with UFC, bro. I don't know what happened and how it's died off so quick, because I used to love the UFC. I think I might rather watch boxing because I know that they're going to strike.
Yeah, a pretty lackluster card from what I heard either. I actually didn't watch any of it myself, but Sugar Sean, like you said, apparently just got absolutely dominated, mauled. I think we have to start having a discussion, too, about the greatest cardio in UFC history. I think we might have to give to Merab, because it just seems like that guy just has zero gas tank. Like, he has an unlimited amount of stamina and fuel to just keep him going.
Well, let me see Merab's age. Merab, full profile. Merab's 34, so it's not even like he's young.
Exactly. Guy's just a different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, UFC, definitely a very lackluster pay-per-view event.
Once again, dude. Once again. And I don't think it's going to get any better. So the next UFC 317 features Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the lightweight championship of the world. Alexander Pajanja, I think his name is, versus Kai Kara France for. Thank you. First, Kai Kara France for the flyweight. Paulo Costa is on the main event with Roman, some Russian ass name here. I don't know, dude. Fucking internet. I don't know if I go out on my way for the UFC anymore, Zachary.
I'll have to wait for another card.
I don't know if I'll go out on my way
to really spice it up.
That's it for our UFC here. All right, Zachary, U.S. Open.
Yes, this is the weekend. I do have a couple guys that might be down for the pool, Robbie, but I have not done a very good job of advertising it. I kind of forgot all about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you did. I'm sorry to just come straight out of that. Yeah, you did. I think I got one guy from work and maybe a couple more as well, but we really need to get this shit going, bro. If we want to make this happen, listen, if we need this to happen, we need the money by Thursday morning.
Yeah, before first tee off.
Yes.
So we'll make we actually will do a Sports Cave story. I'll put it on mine and Robbie will put it on his story.
Hold on. I did a poll, dude. This just goes to show how much people like us. I'm the only one who voted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been a tough realization day for the Sports Cave.
Honestly, dude, I think I'm kind of done.
Well, we might have to have a discussion about the future of the Sports Cave after tonight's episode, folks, because this has been a tough one.
Yeah.
But the U.S. Open, Robbie, I mean, not much to say. We have a chance to see a plus par winner coming into this weekend. The roughs are absolutely just ridiculous. The greens are fast as fuck. Every top golfer in the world is saying this is, without a doubt, the hardest golf course in North America. So I would expect to see some very, very tough play this weekend here.
I think I saw they were actually doing maintenance on the roughs. Oh my God, look at this camera angle here, bro. Look at this.
I saw this guy, and I'm like, this guy is going to take his foot off. They also had a fleet of like 50 guys with push mowers.
Is that OSHA approved?
That is definitely not. Definitely not. No steel toes either.
Hold on a second. Dad, I hate to break the news to you, but look under viewers. You were second from the top. You did see the poll.
Ooh, damn, Bob.
Well, hold on. We knew Dad was already in. We knew he was already in.
Yeah. I do have, I think, 3 or 4 buddies that said they would be down, so I will circle back with them. We'll text a few more guys and see if we can get. Like I said, I want to get a minimum of 10 at least. But I think we can even do better than that. But we'll spread it around. We'll make some posts about it. And we will hope to see a very enticing U.S. Open. I'm assuming Scotty Scheffler would be the betting favorite.
Yeah. Zach, before we continue about the U.S. Open and make our picks, let's listen to Bryson DeChambeau because his LIV contract is over at the end of 2025. So let's hear what Bryson has to say.
When does your deal with LIV expire, and have you thought it beyond what your professional life would be after your LIV career?
How do I phrase this? I would say that, yeah, next year is when it ends. We're looking to negotiate end of this year, and I'm very excited. They see the value in me. I see the value in what they can provide. And I believe we'll come to some sort of resolution on that, and super excited for the future. I think that, LIV's not going anywhere. HE has been steadfast in his belief on team golf, and whether everybody believes in it or not, I think it's a viable option.
Damn it.
I think it's a viable commercial option. Our team has been EBITDA positive for the past 2 years, so we're starting to grow and move in the right direction, just like TGL. TGL has done a great job. They've got some teams that are making some money, and I believe there is a sustainable model out there. How it all works with a game of golf, who knows? But I know my worth. I know what LIV brings to the table, and I'm excited for the future of what golf is going to be.
That's not what I wanted to hear, Zach. That's honestly not what I want to hear.
Yeah, that sounds like he's staying.
Yeah, that sucks. Because the thing with DeChambeau is he doesn't have to play in the PGA Tour to win these majors, dude. He won the U.S. Open. He was in it with the Masters, and LIV doesn't play 4 rounds over the weekend like the PGA does, and he's hanging in there with these guys who are averaging 4 days a weekend, where he's playing 3 every couple of weeks, every other week, or whatever it is with LIV. I mean, DeChambeau. Honestly, dude, if DeChambeau was playing in the PGA Tour, he'd be right there with Scotty for the best in the world. Agreed?
Yeah, to me, it kind of surprised me. Like a guy like, obviously the money is going to be tough to turn around or to say no to, but you also, I feel like a guy with DeChambeau has the drive to want to become the best golfer in the world. And I mean, live or no live, like you're literally just not on the rankings. I mean, there's no way to call you the best golfer in the world because the points don't count.
But there is in a way, though, because this guy is in every single major tournament. Every single one.
No, he's definitely one of the best golfers on earth. That's why I feel like if I were him, I'd want to, maybe come back to the PGA Tour and get some points. You're going to have to obviously kiss away some money. There's no guaranteed money in the PGA Tour. I mean, a guy for Bryson DeChambeau, there's guaranteed money because you're going to make cuts, obviously, but there's no upfront money, I should say. And another thing, too, apparently the LIV contracts aren't going to be these massive upfront deals that we were seeing these guys sign anyway. So
yeah, I think he was making like $500-600 mil. Dustin Johnson will probably come back to the tour. Brooks has already talked about coming back to the tour. I think it's more of a competitive thing than it is a money thing.
I mean, man, the way I look at it, these guys went and signed for their $200-300 million, whatever it is. That is generational wealth.
Yeah.
You've made your money. If you want to cement your name in the golf history books, you got to do it in the PGA Tour. I don't care who you are. I hate to say it, I live golf. I'm a fan of it. I think it's nice. It's a competitive atmosphere, especially going up against the PGA Tour. It's brought PGA Tour wages up. It's done good for PGA Tour as well. But at the end of the day, none of your shit gets counted.
No.
So
when have you watched LIV Golf?
I've seen it a few times.
Okay.
I like how they play the music. You get to wear shorts. It's a little bit more freeing that way, but
I do think it's crazy that you're not allowed to wear shorts in the fucking PGA.
Plus, Phil Mickelson had the shot of shots this weekend at the.
Did I send that?
At the LIV event.
Did I send that?
I don't know if you sent that to me, but
No, I didn't, but I definitely like that because that was a shot of a freaking. And this might be Phil Mickelson's last ever U.S. Open, dude.
he's getting up there in age. He had that miraculous victory. Was it a U.S. Open he won a few years ago?
I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't freaking show the video of that. Can I show you the video of this guy from Oakland?
Sure.
Zachary, he's already made 3 miraculous catches this year.
Oh, yes, I saw this one. It was insane. He's a Canadian.
So these are the 3 catches that this. I'm sorry, we're going so off track here. This is my own fault. Denzel Clark made some freaking miraculous catches here in MLB in last, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. Take a look here, folks. Zachary, this one came at your expense as a Toronto Blue Jays fan.
Taking a different look here. He puts a swing on it to center field. Denzel Clark going back towards the wall and leaps up for the catch.
Oh my God!
Denzel Clark showing off the speed and the Spider-Man skills back on his home turf.
1-1. That's hit deep in the air to left center. Denzel Clark on the run. He's still going. He's still going. He launches out. And did he catch that baseball?
Oh my God.
Goodness, he caught the baseball.
Oh my God.
This one, Zach.
This is the
One
most
to center
disgusting thing I've
field.
ever seen.
Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped towards
my
home plate and
God.
makes another catch.
Oh my God.
This guy is
Back-to-back weeks where he
unbelievable.
wins the Electric Play of the Week, and he's already on the leaderboard for this week.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, get that broad out of the commentating
I
section.
was
That
gonna
was
say, I don't want to
fucking
this, but my God, she's like,
Jesus. That's like fingernails down a chalkboard, lady.
God, she's the same one that last year was like, "Hey Siri, it's not your night," and Jose Siri hits the go ahead over in the next pitch.
Yeah, this lady, terrible. But no, that guy has some just insane catches.
Yeah. So Zachary, before we go into our PJ thing once again, I just want to take a show this. I know we don't watch much tennis, but this has something to be said right here. Carlos Alcaraz was down, and I remember watching this at Colony Grill. Match point by Sinner here. Zach, that was the closest that Sinner got to winning. Alcaraz came back and won, getting his 5th major championship in tennis at the age of 22. Like literally, this dude was that 1 point away right there from winning the French Open or whatever they call it now. And he blew it. And
Roland Garros.
He blew it, dude. He blew it.
Yeah, I mean, you're facing what has potential to be just another great.
I mean, this guy's better than Rafael Nadal.
Well, he's won already more majors at 22 years old, and those guys had at 22 years old. So his career.
I think Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, I think you're correct.
Yeah, so his career is already off to a blitzing start.
Unbelievable. Okay, now let's go back to the PGA Tour. I just want to give Carlos Alcaraz respect.
We're a tennis show.
Kinda. So the betting favorite, Zachary, is
Scottie Scheffler.
It always is. I'm going to take him, but in terms of the Cup, but I don't think he's going to win the Open.
Well, just to be honest with you, Robbie, I feel like this has the potential to have an absolute no-namer. That because I feel like this course is going to be so hard for everybody to play that you're not going to see a guy jump out with it, and it could take a guy that's a guy that no one really knows about with just a weekend of all weekends, and takes advantage of the terrible roughs and greens that this course has to offer. I don't know.
I know you're right about that, Dad, because that's the one thing he needs from the trifecta there.
Well, whatever one it was that he won at like 50 years old.
Open, Masters, but never the U.S. Open. The betting favorite, Zachary, number 1 is Scottie Scheffler. Number 2 is DeChambeau. Rory and John Rahm are tied at 1,200. Ludwig Aberg and Alexander Schauffele are 2,200. Colin Morikawa at 2,500. Joaquin Newman at 3,000. Justin Thompson, Tommy Fleetwood at 4. Patrick Cantlay's at 45. Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka at 5. And then we have Jordan Spieth, Koepka, and Tyrell Hatton at 5,500, as well as Victor Hovland and Corey Connors, Jesus Christ, at 5,500.
Well, we got ourselves a hell of a U.S. Open here, Robert.
Zachary, so Scotty's going to make the cut. But the guy that stands out to me that I think has a legitimate chance of winning this, and call me crazy, Maddie's here on YouTube.
Holy fuck, hey, Maddie.
He's not on Twitch, he's on YouTube. What up, Maddie? I got a good feeling about Matt Fitzpatrick, bro.
Well, that's a weird name right there.
Matt Fitzpatrick was hanging in there for the PGA Championship.
I think it's going to be Scheffler's tournament, to be honest with you. I just think this guy is I'm sticking the vanilla pick.
I don't think Lightning's going to continue going to the bottle like it's been for Scotty Scheffler. I don't. Can I ask you a question before we move on from this conversation?
Sure.
Does it annoy you that a lot of these big names here, like Scotty Scheffler, Schauffele, Ludwig Ahlberg, Colin Morikawa, and other big names skip the Canadian Open because it's right in front of the U.S. Open? Does it annoy you as a Canadian?
It's a bit of it's a little bit annoying. It kind of just makes it look like a joke of a tournament. Now I know you always get a Rory there, which is one of the reasons why I like and respect Rory. I know you have your views about him, but him coming to the Canadian Open literally year in and year out is a reason why he'll always have my respect. I got to see Scotty Scheffler play live at the Canadian Open when I went a few years ago, but it's kind of the same situation for you. The tournament that they have in Connecticut there.
No, it's changed. They go to TPC because they raised the pot. Scotty will be there. Rory, as long as he doesn't throw another bitch fit, will be there.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it was a little bit disappointing, but it did make for a fantastic finish. I mean, obviously Sam Burns and whatever the fucking guy ended up winning it. Not exactly the two names you want to see, but a 4 playoff hole overtime. I mean, it was an exciting finish of the Canadian Open. But yeah, it would be nice if some of the bigger names would show up for it.
I don't think it's going to happen as long as it's a week before the U.S. Open, Zach. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, then change the fucking schedule.
I agree, dude. Honestly, why not have the Canadian Open in July when it's a lot hotter?
And it's a lot hotter. It's a lot nicer. Maybe make it an expedited prize. Throw some more cash in there.
But I think that's a venue thing to throw in the cash pool.
That's probably not going to happen because we're cheap.
I mean, you guys have the Maple Leafs, you have the Blue Jays, you have, NHL teams across the whole state of Canada. We have nothing here in Connecticut. Like when TPC comes around, this is all we got. This is all we got.
You got to spend the money.
This is all we freaking got, man. I don't know if I'm going to go to TPC this year. I doubt it.
Well, I wanted to go to the Canadian Open that last weekend, but to be honest with you, the crowds really didn't look very good either. It just looked like kind of a lackluster weekend.
Expect you got nobody there. You have Rory and then maybe Corey Connors and the other Canadian. That's it.
Yeah.
How did Corey Connors do? Do you know?
Not fantastic, but we actually will say this. Rory McIlroy finished 6th last place.
Yeah, he was having a very bad round. He quit on Friday. He quit on Friday, didn't he?
I don't know if he quit, dude. I think he played it out.
No, he definitely did not play it out. I'm pretty sure he left.
That would make sense because he was golfing like a full-on retard.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah.
You can't say that to
like a full-on retarded person.
Zach. Can't say that. Oh, that's the U.S. Open. Hold on. Let's see the Canadian Open here. Let's find Rory. Oh, my God. I'm scrolling down this list really far. Oh, 71 and 78.
Yeah, not exactly the course you're looking for.
Okay, I'm trying to find Canadian here. Ryan Fox won. Sam Burns and Ryan Fox, I think, went to a playoff. Nick Taylor, minus 13, finished tied 13th. He tied with a lot of people. Ludwig Ahlberg, Alex Smalley, Danny Willett, Shane Lowry, Nick Taylor. Where's Corey Connors? Oh, Corey Connors, minus 10. Not bad. Not bad.
Bob, you're wrong, by the way. It was at the Hamilton Golf and Country Club last year. So, you dumb fuck.
Oh my God, he's one person that tunes in.
Sorry, Robbie. It's almost 8:30. I think we let Bob go off and enjoy the rest of his night.
Now, yeah, we got to make our freaking parlay that we always do.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to use Scotty Scheffler. I'm not going to be bold like I did for the PGA Championship, and I think the Masters both I was bold. I'm going to use Scotty Scheffler. I'm going to use Matt, and these are all top 10. I'm not going to do winners. I'm going to use Matt Fitzpatrick. Now, this last one here, I'm a little on the fence here. Scotty Scheffler, Matt Fitzpatrick, and I think I'll go Shane Lowry for the top 10.
Fuck, I had Shane Lowry in mine.
So stick with what you got.
I'm going to go, you know what? I said I could see Scotty Scheffler winning it, but I just want to make some fun here. So I'm going to go Bryson DeChambeau, Shane Lowry, and I'm going to go Xander Schauffele.
Can I substitute Shane Lowry for Bryson DeChambeau? Because I think DeChambeau is going to win it.
No, you already said your picks.
No, go fuck yourself. I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler, DeChambeau, Matt Fitzpatrick. Top 10.
And there you have it, folks.
All right. Honestly, dude, I want to see Phil make a run. If this is his last U.S. Open, this is the one gold trophy that he needs. I want to see Phil make a run. Say what you want about him with Liv. Phil deserves it. Phil has been a pioneer of golf. When you think of Tiger Woods, you think of his biggest arch nemesis. It's been Phil Mickelson. Phil deserves it. So I'm hoping the best for Phil Mickelson.
He ain't going to win shit.
He's not, but I would like to see him compete, Zachary. I'd like to see him make the cut.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that dinosaur fuck can make the cut. He's coming off of a nice chip at in Live Golf.
Folks, this is the 3rd of the 4th. I believe in July is the British Open, followed by the Ryder Cup. So if you get a chance to tune in on Sunday for the final round, make sure you watch the U.S. Open. The rough is absolutely... What do you think the lowest score is going to be by Sunday, Zach? I think it'll be -7.
I think it's going to be -3.
It's going to be extremely low, but I cannot wait to watch this U.S. Open over in Oakmont once again. Folks, it's 8:27. We honestly have wasted our own time. We haven't wasted your time because you fucks didn't listen.
Sorry, Bob.
Well, Dad, listen. But Plouffe, Steve, Ryan, Maddie tuned in late. Your Kevin, who else are we throwing in the equation there? Your buddies, Kevin, who we haven't heard from in years. Tony, you know what? You guys all suck. This is our last show. Zachary, take us on out.
You guys heard the man. We will not see you next Tuesday on the Sports Cave. Go fuck yourselves, but stay sexy, Sports Cave. And thank you, Bob, for being a viewer. But fuck you, Bob.